Hello everyone and welcome back. So guys, we saw this relation between artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning in the last video. Now where does generative AI fit into all this? As you may have guessed, generative AI is a subset of deep learning. It uses deep learning neural networks that we saw in the previous video to understand the training data, learn from it and generate new content. So again, the key differentiation that coming back is this word generative, or the ability to generate something new. The existing AI systems that we call as conventional AI systems operated in this way. You gave them training data, the model learned from it, and then it either made predictions or classified the data into categories, or did language processing like translations, or did computer vision like what an image is. So for example, we talked about this one in the past also. Train a machine learning model on lots of images of apple and then ask it to tell you whether an supplied image is of an apple or not, and it can do that for you. That's what conventional AI does. That's what conventional AI is trained and created to operate on. Generative AI, on the other hand, is entirely different from that. We give the AI model lots of training data, much more than what we have typically given to the conventional AI system. Based on this training data, based on the neural network that operates behind the scene, it is able to generate new content, whether it is text or image or video or anything. So if we talk about the same example that we discussed earlier, we train our model, this time a generative AI model, on the same data set of Apple images, and then we ask it to generate an image of an apple for us, and it can do that. It can give us this new image. Now note that this image is not coming from the millions of images that this model was trained on. It is not an extractive exercise, it's a generative exercise. The model is generating a new image of the apple based on what it has learned from this training data. And once again, that is what generative AI is. You are generating new content. It is text, image, audio, video using artificial intelligence. I hope that you are crystal clear on this now. Now, as we go into the next video and start talking more in depth about generative AI, how it works behind the scene, its applicability, all those things, I really want you to remember three key things from these past videos. For machines to be intelligent, to be accurate, you need to train them on large volume of data. There is a term that we use a lot in machine learning, which is called garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage data or bad data to your machine learning model, obviously it will give you bad results, garbage results. On the other hand, if you give it good data, variations of data, huge volume of data, you will obviously get better, more accurate results. Then the second key takeaway is that we need high computational power, and we already talked about it. We are feeding large volume of training data. We are using neural networks that is very complex. We are expecting quick answers when we type in something into ChatGPT. So the computational power behind the scene has to be massive. It has to be very powerful to be able to process this data in a very short amount of time. And we are seeing a shift in the way that we interact with these machine learning model. Users nowadays, including me, do not want to type in a query into Google and get 15 matching documents and then read through it. Those days are gone. Rather, we want conversational interaction ability, where I can put in a simple question and I can get direct answer. And I should be able to ask things in context also. So for example, if I ask what is the capital of India and get an answer which is New Delhi, and then I go ahead and say what is the weather there, the application should understand that I'm still talking about New Delhi and tell me the weather about there. It should be able to understand that context. It should be able to gather the information based on what we were already discussing and show me the result. So guys, keep these three things in mind as we move through the course and we talk about various approaches and behind the scene specifics of generative AI. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.